Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the 2025 SowHope Gala. As usual, I was instructed by Mary Dailey Brown to start at 6:30 on the dot, and I'm 2 minutes late, so no dessert for me tonight, I can tell you that. So the theme of this year's gala is Next Generation, and you'll be hearing more about that during the presentation later, which is going to start at 7:30. Some information about the evening. You'll see photos at this end of the room over here. All of those photos were taken by SowHope staff, volunteers, and supporters, and are available to anyone making a donation of $500 or more tonight. May select one of those photographs and take it home with them. And all you need to do after the event, go and select one, and go and find Deb, who is right there. And where will you be at the end of the evening? By the photos, Deb? Deb will be by the photos. Go and select one, and she'll check you out, and you can take it home. So, as I said, they're all genuine images taken on SowHope trips, and if you see Shutterstock or Getty Images on any of them, that's obviously a mistake. So if anyone makes a $500 donation tomorrow, you can come back and take one of the photographs if there's any still here. Okay, wearing SowHope branded merchandise is a great way to increase awareness and help to market the organization, and I'd encourage you all to do that. I do. I even sleep in it, and that's true, actually. And over here we have a table that has T-shirts and I think some hats, and you can go to SowHope.org, where there are also sweatshirts and other merchandise, branded merchandise, that you can help spread the word through, and I'd encourage you all to do that. You can also get your photograph taken at the photo booth over in the corner, and for all the good-looking ones, which is all of you, we'll be putting them on Facebook and Instagram, and you'll be able to see them. And also, don't forget to like SowHope across the social media platforms that you use personally, another great way to just help to spread the word. As always, we'd like to thank our sponsors, and a special thank you tonight to our presenting sponsors, Dignified Care and Sonlight. Oh, I'm supposed to be doing this. Yes, somebody else is doing it. That's just as well. So our other sponsors, our corporate sponsors, and our table sponsors, and all of this is in the program. So you can all make a donation tonight at the end of the evening. All of your table hosts will be providing information on the ways in which you can do that. And it's entirely voluntary, of course. You only need to do it if you want to leave. During dinner, servers will be walking amongst us carrying wine. And there is a cash bar for cocktails over there. And a very interesting fact I made up this afternoon is that events like this, the amount raised is generally directly proportional to the amount of alcohol drunk. So I'd like to ask you all to drink up tonight. Non-alcoholic drinks are also available from the bar or from a server. So how many people do we have here tonight who are at the SowHope Gala for the first time? Excellent. Well done. Thank you. Good to see you. What took you so long? How many people have been here 5 times? Wow. Anyone been here 10 times? I was going to ask if anyone had been here 20 times, but only the liars would put their hands up because there's only been 18 of these things. So for our first-time attendees tonight, you will get a glimpse into what this organization does. And for those of us that have been supporters of it for quite a while, I always say that if I'm not a fan of big charity. In fact, I don't even consider what SowHope does to be charity. But I'm not a fan of big nonprofits. And if you want an organization where you are going to see your dollars go to good use and actually see what is accomplished with the money that you donate, I don't think there's a better one than this one for that. So you'll get a lot of information and hopefully inspiration tonight, and hopefully at the end of the evening, you'll be moved to support SowHope and become one of our next generation sponsors. So the presentation will start at 7:30, and it will be live streamed from that point. So if any of you live close and you want to run home and watch a bit and then come back, you could be here for the end, maybe. Okay, once you've eaten, feel free to get more food once every table has been through the line. And before we do that, we are going to ask Aaron Hawksworth, who is a board member, to come up and give a blessing for this evening. And have we had his funny line up here yet? Okay. He is, as you can tell, he's not a calorie counter, but he's given us all permission tonight to do whatever the heck we want. So
he's not wrong. He's not wrong. All right, let's bow our heads together. Thank you, Father God, for bringing us here tonight, and thank you for the opportunity to gather. It is such a blessing, God, that we get to hear about the impact that you are making across the world through SowHope to some of the most vulnerable and impoverished people in the world. And we just thank you so much that we have the opportunity to meet and gather with one another, Lord. I pray that tonight is fruitful, Father, that you help us to have ears to hear and eyes to see, that we have our hearts open, Lord, and our eyes open to what really is going on, Father. And we just thank you for being able to hear about the true things that are going on around this world. So, Lord, we pray over all of the speakers tonight and the technology, and we pray over the food, Father, and we thank you for that as well. Thank you for everybody here tonight, Lord, that made this happen. Thank you for the staff that's been working tirelessly to make sure that we can enjoy ourselves and hear about the things going on. We love you, Lord, and we praise you in your name. Amen.
Welcome to the 2025 SowHope Gala. Woo! It is so exciting to see this room full of people who are eager to hear about the mission of SowHope. If you are joining us virtually or online, we want to welcome you as well. Thank you for hopping into the live stream. We're glad to have you. Before we talk about this theme of next generation, I want to just take a pause, and Alan set this up perfectly. I want to honor the founding generation. So you folks raise your hand if you've been to more than 10 galas, but would you please take a moment to stand? So stay standing for one moment. I want you folks to all take a look at these people. It is because of these folks who are standing that SowHope exists. It is because of these founding folks that SowHope has been impacting women around the world in 26 countries for 19 years. Yes, let's give one more round of applause for them, okay? You can go ahead and have a seat. Because of their generosity and many people who were generous and couldn't make it tonight, there are a ton of new faces here. My face is actually a new face. This is my very first gala. My name is, oh, thank you. My name is Jess, and I am the administrative specialist here at SowHope. I began serving at SowHope in April. A friend told me about the mission of SowHope, that there is an organization dedicated solely to sharing opportunities with women all around the world, women who are living on less than $2.50 a day. That was a really intriguing message, a really intriguing mission. But there's something specific that hooked me to SowHope, and it's something that our founder, Mary, says quite often. When she meets with a potential partner, she asks them two questions. She asks them, number one, what are your dreams? Number two, she asks them, if you simply had more resources, what would you do? I love that question so much. I think all of us can relate to being in very difficult circumstances. But I think very few of us can relate to having someone compassionate come alongside and asking the question, what do you see? What solutions are possible? When somebody asks a question like that, it causes you to sit up a little bit straighter. It causes you to imagine what is possible. Am I capable? Am I able? That question infuses dignity and empowers a person. And that is the unique strategy of SowHope that it hooked me, and I have not been able to look back, and I think the same thing is going to happen for all of you. So, the mission of SowHope is to inspire women all around the world by promoting wellness, education, and economic opportunities. The unique strategy is that we partner with local leaders to provide local problems using local solutions. Local, it's key. We believe that those local leaders are capable and able, and we get to come alongside them and partner with them. It's the secret sauce of SowHope, and it is what has hooked me. Another thing is that it works, and you will hear about that tonight all throughout the gala. At SowHope, we hear about and we hear many horrific stories, a lot of difficult things. So we have chosen one value, which is celebration. When we have a milestone to celebrate, we choose to celebrate it. And tonight, I get to share something exciting with all of you. After 19 years in 26 countries, we have directly impacted 150,000 women. So let's give a round of applause to that. That's huge. And I just want to say and clarify that directly impacting 150,000 women just scratches the surface. What we've learned, and you probably know this about the women in your own life, is that when a woman becomes financially able, when she becomes strong and capable, what is the first thing she does? Think about that for a second. She cares for her children. She makes sure they have clothes, food. She sends them to school. She makes sure they have an adequate education. She cares for her family, her husband, her parents, her neighbors, the people she goes to church with, everyone that she cares about around her. Women are natural nurturers. So when you empower one woman, she empowers everyone around her. That direct impact begins to transform entire communities. It's incredibly powerful. So 150,000 women, remarkable. But the true impact of SowHope is immeasurable. You've probably heard about our documentary, Charity Redefined. We are thrilled to announce that it will be premiering on International Women's Day, March 2026. Another round of applause. I get to share all of the good news, so it's a really cool job up here. This has been a long time in the works. We are very excited about it because we know that it is going to serve as a tool in all of our hands and everyone else who loves SowHope to be able to share the mission, the movement, and the stories of impact with their own spheres of influence. It's going to be really powerful, and we're very excited about that. And tonight, we actually get to watch a sneak peek. So that is really cool. The portion that we'll get to watch is the origin story. We'll get to hear from longtime donors and volunteers. We'll get to meet our co-founder, Doug Brown, Mary's husband. We'll also get to meet and hear from our co-founder, president and CEO, Mary Dailey Brown. So, before we start to talk about the next generation, before we start to dream about the future and what might be, let's go back to our roots. Let's remember the inspiration that began SowHope. Let's watch this video together.
I met Mary Dailey Brown at our local church that we were going to at the time, and she was the missions director at the church.
Well, it is our vision as a church to follow the Great Commission, to go into all the world, and we realized that there was a whole big part of the world where nobody was spending money or going or making an impact, and we said, well, God, maybe if we could be part of that, let's do that.
So part of her responsibilities was to organize and led multiple mission trips. I want to say at least 150 short-term mission trips where she took teenagers, families, and adults, different trips all over the world.
Yeah, we'd always let our missionaries tell us what projects they needed. And so they would come up with some pretty creative things. Like the guy in Venezuela, he said baseball's such a big deal down there. If we could bring down some people good in baseball, they'd run a baseball camp. And then share the gospel with the people. We did a lot of building projects, building schools, building some churches, and build homes.
Mary is now sawing her first piece of lumber. Yay, Mary!
One of the things that struck me so much when we were on the trip,
Hola!
I saw her come alive in a way that I had never seen before. And I'd, gotten to know her through the weeks and months and time at church, but seeing her on the field, the mission field, it was just, it was so beautiful, so incredible, and I learned so much. I thought, wow, that must be what it's like when the Holy Spirit works through us and reaches out to people and shows that we care and compassion and all those elements that show love.
Okay, great, thank you.
we went with a team to Mozambique. It was there that Mary really started to teach me, and I started to see the plight of women in developing countries.
Taking care of the children, working the fields, doing all the carrying of the water and the fetching of the wood, and they were doing the bulk of the hard work. And it was the same everywhere she went in the developing world.
Women aren't allowed to own land. They don't own their houses. Matter of fact, in a lot of places, when the husband dies, the woman is part of the inheritance to the brothers. The brother comes in, takes the land, takes the house, takes the wife. So that was what that left me with a very bad feeling.
And she would ask questions and try to learn more about what's going on here. And as she studied it, she became more and more convinced that these women really need help.
How difficult it was for her to see it, and how frustrating it was to not be able to do anything about it, to be taking these trips and knowing that she was leaving women behind, left to their plight.
So I said to my husband, look, I really think that I want to go work for a place that's helping women. I don't see a lot of people helping women. And he said, yeah, let's do that. Go ahead and look for a job anywhere you want. And I started to look. And I looked for months. And I could not find even one multinational organization dedicated to helping women.
I know Mary struggled initially with the idea that she was going to be the one to do something about this. The dream was huge. And B, where was she going to gather all these resources? And how was she going to be able to gather people around her to structure the organization, run the organization, and would people even give money to it?
And she said, well, I don't want to get to the end of my life and think that I should have done this, so I really want to go after it. And I said, well, I think you should.
So I said to my husband finally, do you think we should start an organization? And he said, yeah, Mary, it's half the world. Yeah, there should be hundreds, thousands of these organizations. I think we should start the first one then.
And so she and Doug together, Doug is a huge part of it, right with Mary, and he's always been supportive. And together, the two of them started SowHope.
One of the first trips that I took with Mary was early on in the organization, when a percentage of the trips were looking at potential projects. So one of the microloan projects that we visited in Bangladesh, we spent a long time talking to the women, understanding what they wanted to do and what their dreams were for their future and what they might be able to do if they were able to get small loans to start businesses themselves. And the women were very excited about the possibilities. And Mary got very cautious. I could see her getting very cautious. And so she said to the women through the interpreter, I just want you to know that we really want to be able to help you and to be able to provide these loans to you. But I don't even know if we can get people to give money to this. But I will tell you, we'll go back to the US and we'll talk to our donors and we'll see if we can get them to fund your project. And the women basically were embracing her and saying, it doesn't matter if you're never able to give us money, you've given us hope. It was humbling. It was terribly humbling.
It's also humbling how short I am and how much I have to rely on Craig every year to put this little stand up here for me. Craig is Bonnie's husband, who just spoke to us. Bonnie is my very good friend. She was the first one I told about SowHope because it was the craziest idea. And she said, well, that's a God-sized dream, and I'm in it with you. And 19 years later, here they are. Sunlight Inc. It is great to be here. Good evening, everyone. I hope I got around to every, is this thing the problem? Got around to every table. I wanted to greet everybody and thank you all for coming tonight. Hope, it is so powerful. It reminds us why we're here tonight. I have to tell you, it's a joy to see this room full, filled with old friends who carry this vision with us for so many years, and so many new friends who may be hearing about us for the first time tonight. I know that Alan already asked you this. He wasn't supposed to, but if you are here for the first time, would you kindly raise your hand and hold it up? I'm just going to take a couple pictures here. Hang on. Yeah, we just want to know how many came new. Thank you all. All right. Everybody, thanks for coming and welcome. The theme tonight is SowHope Next Generation. Some of you may remember that little Star Trek echo. Oh, that's not it. I didn't touch this.
To boldly go where no one has gone before.
Okay. It worked. We have such good technology. Thanks, you guys. Well, we're not flying into other galaxies, but in our own way, we have gone boldly into some of the hardest places on the earth. We've gone to places marked by poverty, conflict, and despair. Where the women are especially vulnerable to neglect and abuse. And together, we've brought light, dignity, and opportunity. And we have seen hope rise. In the past 19 years, because of your support and because of the courage of our partners overseas, as Jess said, more than 150,000 women and their families and their communities have been helped. And that's not science fiction. That's serious transformation. And that is something we're celebrating. Now tonight, I want us to think together about transition, not in the sense of ending, but in the sense of passing on, growing, rising. The next generation of our board and our staff, our partners, and yes, each of you here tonight in this room, and those watching online. When I first started this organization, I never imagined we would be here tonight celebrating nearly 2 decades of impact. I also never imagined that one day we would have to ask, who will carry this mission into the future? That question matters, though, because so many of you are here tonight, not because of an idea, not because of a brochure, but because you trust me. That trust has been sacred, and I am profoundly grateful for it. I have always known that this mission is bigger than me. I believe it was inspired by God and has always belonged to all of us. And I believe one measure of leadership is not only what happens while you are there, but what continues after you're gone. Tonight is about next generation, but I want to take a minute and remember the shoulders on which we stand. We have lost 2 remarkable board members. Dr. Diana Sharp, our founding board president. She was the head resident in my dorm at college and the best boss I ever had. In 6 years, while she was the board president, the first 6 years, she only missed one board meeting, and that was for her son's wedding. I told her she needed to get her priorities in line, but she went to the wedding anyway. That's dedication. She helped us set a standard of commitment that has shaped us ever since. And Dr. Danny Balfour, his wife and son and many friends are here tonight. Danny was one of the professors in our nonprofit master's program at Grand Valley State University, and many on our staff and on our board had him as a teacher. Like Diana, we were thrilled when he also agreed to join the board. His knowledge and wisdom poured into our programming and marketing teams. He even coined the name for our upcoming documentary, Charity Redefined. His fingerprints are all over this work. We miss them both, and we honor their legacy tonight. Unexpected passings is one reason why we've begun intentionally building the next generation of leadership in every part of our work. Our board of directors now includes more younger leaders, and Aaron said he loved his picture on here. He said that was good. Go ahead and put that up. Who bring new energy. Our board includes new younger leaders who bring new energy, fresh vision, and new connections. They understand and embrace technology, social media, fundraising, and of course, their own generational culture in ways that my generation cannot. But I would like to take a minute and ask our founding board members, the past board members, and the current board members to stand, to please be recognized for your leadership. Craig? Yeah, we have a spouses board. Carol? Okay, thank you all. I do want to mention, we have a spouses board, which means that if you have a significant other, you can bring that person to the board meetings. They have a voice at the table, they have a seat at the table, and but only the board member gets to vote, but they can certainly come and join in. And we've had several people, Craig is one of them, came to every meeting that Bonnie came to, and we got to benefit from his voice and the voices of other spouses, other partners. I want to thank all of you for your service to impoverished women around the world. Let me be clear. We are not replacing one generation with another. We are bringing them together. To the founding and subsequent board members who have guarded the mission and carried this organization with wisdom, patience, and strength, you are the foundation on which the future stands. Without your skills, your steady hands, we couldn't dream of the future. Your support, experience, integrity, long-term memory of each high and low are the things that anchor us. You are the roots. To the younger leaders, you are the new branches. You are the future. Step into that. Serve. Speak up. Ask questions. Challenge norms. But also listen. Because the foundation from which you come has deep roots, is firm, and is full of lessons. Together, you make a stronger tree. Just want you to know that I might have a few minutes at the end. If you have any questions, there might be a Q&A, so keep them in mind. The same is true for our staff. We recently welcomed 3 young professionals into key roles at SowHope. Jessica Lewis, Dr. Sylvia Juta, and Jennifer Frank Brenton. You just heard from Jess, our new administrative specialist, who gave the introduction, covering our mission, vision, and strategy. Didn't she do a good job? There's a good chance if you call the SowHope office, the phone will be answered by Jess, and she'll take good care of you. Now, I met Sylvia when we were doing our master's program in nonprofit leadership at GVSU. We became friends, and she went on to get her PhD in nonprofit leadership. She served on the SowHope board and then worked as the program director before starting her own family and eventually moving back to Africa some years ago. She is a professor at a university in Sierra Leone, and about 2 years ago, when I asked her to consider being our program director again, she immediately accepted, saying it would be her dream job. She is an exceptionally gifted leader. Her background, education, and experience are perfect for her position here at SowHope. We were hoping that she could come tonight to speak, but she could not get a visa. So we made a short video of her so that you can get to know her a bit. Take a look.
Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Sylvia Juta, beaming in from Sierra Leone. Today I'm honored to speak to you about the profound impact of SowHope project. As Mary said in a lovely and generous introduction, I've been with SowHope for a very long time, but mostly I was working behind the scene until June 2023, when I was hired as the program director for SowHope. Mary took me around to visit all the SowHope partners, and I had the opportunity to see firsthand the impact of SowHope on the women that we serve. I would like to say that what drew me to SowHope is their strategy, finding local leaders with local solutions and partnering with them to help impoverished women around the world. That is the best way to do it. As someone who grew up in Africa, I appreciated their strategy and I knew that it would work, and for sure it is working. Through our economic projects, women are empowered to try new ideas. Women are becoming pioneers in their communities. In South Sudan, a group of women started a supermarket, and now there's a mini shopping mall due to the initiative of our SowHope partners. In Zimbabwe, 13 groups of women have introduced banana farming in a region where no one thought that they could grow bananas. I love the way SowHope is so gracious to allow the leaders to think outside the box and to venture into new business ideas which are succeeding. Through our wellness project, birthing clinics have been established in the most remote areas of Africa. Monique, one of our partners in DRC, opened up 3 birthing centers in the remote and war-torn villages of DRC before she sadly passed away last year. She had a record of 100% live birth.
Man, look at all these babies.
I could go on and on about SowHope and how they are transforming lives of women, their families, their communities. In Sierra Leone, where I live, literacy rate is very low, 48.64%. Pastor Susan, who is one of our SowHope partners, introduced adult literacy education for women. The women were so proud to be able to write their names. Now they don't have to use their thumbprint as a signature. Like I said, I could go on and on, but lastly, I want to talk about the most striking impact of SowHope project. In the 25 countries that we are serving now, I've witnessed how SowHope projects bring the women together in a profound way that leads to healing, solidarity, and dignity. When a woman sits with others who have known suffering, she realizes she's not alone. When a woman learns a new skill, be it farming, tailoring, or hair braiding, she begins to see herself not as broken, but as capable. When she earns her own income, she no longer asks to sit at the table, she builds her own table. When she bonds with others, loves again, creates again, she begins the long and sacred journey of healing. I met an amazing group of widows from DRC. They all lost their husbands. Some lost their children during a rebel attack. Some were raped, but still kept the children that came out as a result. They're the most amazing survival stories. Now, 10 years later, here we were laughing, singing, dancing in a hotel room in Rwanda. What a transformation. Some of our best partners who are helping women also went through terrible experiences, which made them to vow never to allow another woman to go through what they went through. In conclusion, the work of SowHope is supporting women's education, economic, and wellness. It's not just a noble endeavor. It is an investment in a more equitable, prosperous, and resilient society. I would like to thank you all for partnering with SowHope to make all this possible. I'm so happy to be part of the next generation of SowHope and to help carry SowHope into the future. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you.
Sylvia is really something. Jen is our new fund development and marketing specialist. Oh, there's a spider up here. Oh, I can't do that. I want to flicker on Bonnie. Oh. Okay. Sorry, Jen. Jen is our new fund development and marketing specialist and comes to SowHope with years of nonprofit experience. Now, if you ever get a call from the SowHope office, it will probably be Jen. So be generous when she calls. You'll also hear from her when I'm finished. She'll come up and make the concluding remarks tonight, so you can get to meet her too. By the way, I want to say that Jess and Jen did a great job helping to get this thing here tonight. Well done, ladies. Okay, this guy's crawling all over me here. I can't believe it. I'm in America now. I'm not in Africa somewhere. Okay. I need to have Bonnie come up here and kill this spider because I don't really like spiders. She used to kill all the roaches for me and everything. Okay, I think you're okay, Bonnie. You're good. Seriously, the first time we went to Bangladesh, there was roaches like this big. I called them Frank for Frankenstein in our bathroom, and she had to go in and get rid of them because I wasn't going to do it. Okay, these women, are here not simply to fill positions, but to grow as leaders who will carry the mission of SowHope forward. They're smart, they're enthusiastic, they're not waiting for someday to make a difference. They're doing it now. When I see their passion, their creativity, their willingness to learn and work together, I know we are planting seeds that will grow long after I step back. I think we make a pretty formidable team. Yes, I said it. Someday I will step back. Not tomorrow, not next week, but in a few years, I will transition out of full-time work, maybe at first to part-time. We'll see. We have a succession planning team helping to make these torch passing passing decisions. I will never retire from the mission of inspiring women around the world. But ultimately, the best gift that I can give this organization is not my endless presence, cut short by an untimely departure, but a healthy and thoughtful transition to a future strong enough to thrive without me at the center. And let me tell you, watching this younger staff take ownership of their work makes me very hopeful. They are committed to inspiring the women of SowHope, and they are actively helping to build its future. We also see this passing of the baton with our partners overseas. I shared at last year's Gala that we lost one of those remarkable partners, Sarah from Nigeria, a woman of courage, integrity, and faith. Her unexpected passing was a deep sorrow, but from that loss, we have also witnessed something very beautiful. True to our philosophy that people in the developing world can be self-directed, we do not need our advice on how to solve their problems. A small team consisting of Sylvia, Dr. Pam, who is also a founding SowHope board member, me and Susan, Sylvia's pastor from Sierra Leone, met with 30 leaders from 5 states that Sarah had mentored and supported with SowHope funds since 2008. They had done all kinds of projects from farming to sewing to knitting classes to midwife training to small business training and microfinance, all to help extremely impoverished women where Boko Haram is actively and in horrible ways trying to shut down women's education. We spent the first day remembering Sarah, telling stories, laughing, crying, praying, singing, dancing. That was Sylvia up there dancing. The video of her is so not what she's like. Looking into a Zoom camera was not, ideal. If she'd been up here, you might have all been dancing by the time she left the stage. On the second day, we asked them what they thought would be the best way forward now that Sarah was gone. Sylvia brilliantly facilitated that day-long discussion where the group decided that they did want to try to continue with new leadership. But who would it be? At the end of the day, Sylvia gave this extremely diverse group, which included older women and younger women, women from various tribes and religions, the assignment to go and pray about who should be the next leader, and not to go to sleep until they knew in their heart who they wanted to name to be their next leader. During our team briefing that evening, the 4 of us discussed amongst ourselves who we thought the group might pick. There were so many highly capable women in that room that we couldn't even settle on one person, and wondered how the discussion the next day would go. Would they pick one person, or a team of leaders, or some other solution that we hadn't even thought of? Either way, we were committed to accepting whatever the group decided, even if that meant they couldn't decide, and we would have to end the work there. I wish you could have been in the room when Sylvia asked them the next morning if they had completed their assignments. There was some nervous laughter, and the anticipation was palpable. One of the older ladies finally offered to go first. I thought she might even nominate herself, but she enthusiastically pointed to Sarah's niece, Elizabeth, and said that she would be the best leader. The room erupted in cheers, but Sylvia made each woman stand and say out loud the name of who she thought should be the leader and why. It was unanimous. Everyone wanted Elizabeth, except Elizabeth, who literally slipped onto the floor crying, saying, "No, no, no." She could never fill Auntie Sarah's shoes. For years, she had driven Sarah around to see the various leaders and their projects. She had seen the problems and heard the complaints. Sarah was exceptionally gracious and wise and forgiving and patient and kind to everyone. The group promised to support Elizabeth and not make her leadership hard. After much coaxing, she finally agreed to take on the task. This past year, under Elizabeth's leadership, we funded projects for most of the leaders and encouraged Elizabeth during this past year. I want to tell you a little story about how Sarah used to give the local chief, the mayor, the local police officer, the pastor, little payments when she would get her SowHope grants before she would distribute them out to the women. I would complain to her when the local bankers would take their cut also, and then the chief, the mayor, the pastor, the police would show up at her door for their $5 to $10 payments. She would explain to me that she had to make those little payments so that she would be able to do the projects with their support and not be hassled by them. You can imagine my delight when Elizabeth told me that when she got the first grant to distribute to the leaders, those guys all showed up to get their payments. She stood her ground and reprimanded them, saying, "This money is for poor women, widows with orphans, so they can make a living trying to feed their children and pay their school fees." She told them, "I'm not giving you any of this money, and you should be ashamed of yourselves for even coming to ask for it." They left empty-handed. That's Elizabeth, the next generation, shaking things up in Nigeria. She was the leader of her women's, the women's organization of her 1 million person tribe. She had just stepped down from being the women's leader of that tribe. So she really was the best person to pick. Now she carries the torch forward, and she is going boldly. By the way, we are going back to Nigeria next month to visit the projects and to encourage Elizabeth. Our longtime partner in Bangladesh, Nelson, who does microfinance better than anyone I know or have ever read about, also is transitioning to his own next generation team. He has even suggested calling his microfinance organization, which he's currently restructuring. He asked if he could call it SowHope Bangladesh. I cannot overemphasize the need to uplift and empower the women in the developing world. They continue to be mistreated and oppressed in ways that are unjust, unfair, and absolutely unimaginable to us. Women are lacking opportunities of basic human rights, essential health care, elementary education, and financial independence. With little to no resources, they struggle on a daily basis to feed their children. Our partners are instrumental in changing the lives of impoverished women most who still live on less than $2 a day and who are facing unspeakable violence with no justice in sight. Our brave partners conduct sustainable, life-giving development projects that are not only changing the lives of the 150,000 women in their projects, but also the lives of their children, that very important next generation. Now, I want to speak especially to the young people here tonight, millennials, Gen Z, and those coming up behind you. You are not just the future. You're here, now. Wherever you are, in cities, towns, villages, farms, in boardrooms, in schools, in churches, in service groups, you can lead, because leading is serving. You're not just the future. You're the present. And the statistics prove it. Millennials, 29 to 44, are giving more, volunteering more, and leading more than previous generations did at their age. Nearly half of Gen Z adults, those 18 to 28, are volunteering for nonprofits. That is something to be proud of. You can volunteer, you can start small, you can make positive changes wherever you live. Don't wait for a title. Don't wait for the perfect conditions. Begin now. If you see a problem, don't just complain about it. Do something constructive to fix it. Do something constructive to fix it. As hard as this is to believe, you may be the only one willing to act. You can do it. Don't give up. Start small and build, and then get help. Like Winston Churchill said, never, ever give up. To the older generations, you have carried so much. You have built trust, credibility, relationships, structures, and you are still needed as mentors, as advisors, as guardians of institutional memory. Your stories matter. More importantly, your example matters. Maybe you're thinking about doing something, but you're being held back by doubt or fear. Maybe you're waiting for a sign to actually take the first step. Well, I saw a sign the other day at the Atlanta airport. Maybe it's for you. Actually, we have a few minutes. We can take a couple questions. Anything? Everything's clear? Clear as mud? Anybody have a question about SowHope or how we do it or my favorite stock picks? Yeah, go ahead. Okay. Yeah. Across the board. Okay. The question was, would I give some information about the percentage of money that goes overseas compared to what stays national here? Across the board, government, churches, individual giving, foundation giving, 2% goes overseas to help the 98% poorest people in the world. Of the 2% that goes overseas, which actually a lot of that's been cut now, but of that 2%, about 2% of that goes to women. That is a very small piece of the pie, and maybe it's a good reason why you haven't been to another fundraiser for a multinational organization helping women. Women are sort of invisible. And you look at the pictures, and those women don't look that bad off. You look at little poor kids, and you feel bad for them. And most of our money goes toward organizations that help kids. But I want to ask the parents in the room how you would feel, especially the moms, if you couldn't feed your kids and somebody came along and said, hey, we can tell you can't feed your kids, you can't educate your kids, we'll do it for you. Give you a lot more dignity? No. You already feel terrible about how the little resources you have, and then somebody comes along and says, I can take care of your kids. You just go ahead to the background there. We actually further indignify women by taking care of their kids. But you take care of the women, you take care of one woman, you've taken care of 5 to 10 kids. We had one lady, one of our leaders, she had 16 kids. She had about 5 kids, but she was taking care of 16 kids because her sisters got killed. And she had worked so hard, all 16 of those kids went to school. She took care of her nieces and nephews. And one time I asked the women in the DRC, after listening to them tell their stories about being raped and with total impunity, no one ever gets arrested for that. And I just, after hearing story after story, I said, I don't. How do you go on? How do you keep going? And they said, we don't have a choice. If we don't keep going, our kids will die, and our sisters who have died, their kids will die. So we have to keep going. So those women, man, it's really something. I was completely shocked when I saw the plight of women. And I was completely shocked that it took me about 5 years to actually see it. But then once I saw it, I couldn't unsee it. I would come home and have nightmares about it. And I started asking people, am I the only one seeing this? Because it really looks like the women are really working way harder than anybody else, and they seem very mistreated. And people would say, they would think about it, and they'd say, oh, you're right. The women they do almost all the physical work. But they don't make any money. They couldn't read, they can't even count money. Many of them are illiterate. The disparity is just, it's just mind-boggling. And what I couldn't believe was that's just the way it was. And I asked somebody, why is it like that? Oh, I don't know why it's like that. They've been living there. This lady lived there for 32 years. She was a nurse from Switzerland in Ethiopia. She said, I have no idea why it's like that. But you're right. I said, can it change? She said, no. It's not going to change anytime soon. And I thought, it was just incredible. And so I said to my husband, I'd like to go work for a place that's helping women. We were supporting places that help kids, but I said, I mean, these women have it so bad. They have it so bad. And my husband said, yeah, we had spent a lot of time with helping the poor in Mexico, and he has a real heart for the poor, so he was all for it. Yeah, you can go find a job. I could work remotely if I have to. He said I could go get a job in Europe or the United States, anywhere I wanted. I looked for 5 months. Do you know that I could not find even one? Not one multinational organization dedicated to the holistic care of children. And there were hundreds, if not thousands, of these for kids. Well, that's not something, I'm a photographer, and I thought, well, I'll go be a photographer for one of these big organizations. And then I realized there's nowhere to go work. And I finally asked Doug, are we supposed to start something like that? And his answer was, Mary, it's half the world. Yeah, there should be thousands of these organizations. There should be hundreds of these organizations. We can start the first one, and we'll start a movement. And I kind of looked at him like, well, we're not Bill and Melinda Gates, and I don't know how you start movements. I'm a photographer. And he said, well, you just make something so simple, so easy, people can copy you. And then it takes off, and that's how the movement starts. And now we are finding people that are starting to do what we do, and that's one of the reasons we wanted to make the documentary. We wanted to share ways of doing charity that we think are effective, dignifying to people, and we're hoping that the sector will take up on it. But it has a lot to do with relationships. You got to go, you got to love people, you got to trust people. Somebody's got to start trusting. So we chose to do that, and we have had such amazing, wonderful friendships, such great work being done by people who wouldn't have had the resources to do it, had the heart but not the resources. So with our resources and their understanding of the culture and us trusting each other, you can really make a big difference. And I really do believe that helping women, because women are nurturers, like Jess said, they are the natural nurturers of the world. They bring life to the world. They nurture life. If you want to hurt a country or a people group, you just crush those nurturers. You make them feel like nothing. Because that's what really causes chaos. When the nurturers can nurture and they're nurturing, everybody flourishes. You think about Thanksgiving dinner at Grandma's house. Grandma could make that dinner for her family and the nurturing that went on. We can do that for women all over the world. Lift them back up. Let them have the rightful place of caring for their kids. And I can tell you, when you help women, the first thing they do, they'll tell you, why do you want this? Why do you want this microloan? I want to make money. Why? I want to send my kid to school. I want to pay his school fees. I've heard that answer so many times I can't even tell you. So it's a great strategy. I do hope this becomes a movement. I do hope that women can be lifted up around the world, that they can be treated respectfully, kindly, not abused like they are, not mistreated, not used. They're like slaves. And I'm telling you that unless you go, it's really hard to believe it until you see it, because we have women and men in this room sitting at the same tables, carrying on conversations. That's not how it is there. Women make all the food, but they're not at the table. When decisions are being made, they're often not there. So it's a great thing to really try and help women, because you help their kids and you help their husbands. Yes. Yeah, Craig, take that back there, would you? I do have hearing aids now, but they're not helping right now. Okay, I got about 5 minutes. From the last trip. Yeah. Let me see what Michelle asked. Doug and I just took Doug for the first time. He got to go to Africa in July. We went to Zimbabwe, Sylvia's home country, and Kenya. And if I have time, I'll tell a story from that trip. Yes, ma'am.
Could you share a story with us about a time that you met with a country's leader and the most impactful experience you had with encouraging them and maybe even faith, that kind of stuff?
Boy, that's a good question. Could I tell a story about meeting with one of the leaders where they felt really encouraged? Well, okay, I'll combine this. When we went to Kenya recently in July, matter of fact, Doug said to me when he was going to finally go on a trip, we really couldn't afford to take him, and we finally decided to spring for it, and he got to go on the first donor trip as one of the donors, and because it was also going to have good beds, and he said, yeah, I'll go on that trip. So he came along for the first time. And we went, like I said, to Zimbabwe and Kenya. And he said, if I go, I want to go see Josephine in Kenya. Josephine is our partner in Kenya. Bonnie and I went to visit her, back in 2008, I think it was, 2009 maybe. Josephine is a force that you cannot imagine. But I learned about her because my friend, who I was a wedding photographer, she was the wedding piano player, and we often did weddings together. We went to the same church, and we hung out together a lot. And I met her sister, who was a missionary in Kenya. And so I started to get that lady's newsletter. And after I started SowHope in the newsletter, she was writing about this woman named Josephine who was helping AIDS widows. And I said to my friend Barb, tell your sister that I want to meet this Josephine, because that's the kind of woman, we just started an organization. We want to help women like her, women who are helping. All of our partners are already helping women. That's one of the criteria. You can become a SowHope partner if someone tells us that you're helping women. And we go and we look at you and we say, we walk with you for a couple days and we see how do you help women. Well, Josephine, when Barb's sister, I can't remember her name right now for some reason, she told Josephine, hey, there's a group in the U.S. that wants to come and meet you. They want to give you money to help the AIDS widows. She said that Josephine said nobody wants to help AIDS widows. And the lady said, no, they just started this organization. They want to help widows. And she said Josephine started crying. She said, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. And the lady said, the name of the group is called SowHope. And Josephine had just started Hope for Kenya. So we went to meet her. Bonnie and I went to meet her. And she is a force. This woman has done amazing things. She has conferences where she brings warring tribes together in the conference, women from the tribes, but the chiefs want to come because they want to know what are these women going to. So she says, please come. The chiefs come, and she does a 5-day seminar on the value of human life, intrinsic value of human life, and then she does a class on, 5 days she does all this stuff where she basically tells everybody you're worth a lot, what are your problems, tell me your problems, what are the solutions. She forms groups, and she gives them money from us to start microfinance groups. She started this back in about 2013 or 14, started doing these conferences. The conferences were incredible. They would come out of the conferences with amazing declarations where the men would say things like, why aren't these women on our councils? They're actually really smart. And the women would say, yeah, why aren't we? And they'd say, oh, we should do that. And one of the best questions was from one tribe to the other, why do the Pokot women not marry the Turkana men? Well, the Turkana men kill the woman after the 5th child, so we're not really interested in marrying you. And the Turkana men go, yeah, why do we do that? We should stop that. Josephine, what are some of the other problems? Well, every spring, the young men cross the river and they raid each other. They raid our ground, and our men cross and they raid their grounds. And you have cows and you have grain. What would it be like if you guys just traded grain for cattle? What would that be like? Well, that would be actually really good. That should be a really good idea. We should stop doing that. We should stop raiding each other. And about 6 months after that conference, Barb wrote to me and said, Mary, I can't believe this happened, but the young men from the one tribe went across the river. They were raiding the other tribe, and the older men called the elders from there and said, your young men are raiding us. The older men went across the river and said, stop. We don't raid them anymore. We're trading with them now. And the young men were like, really? And they said, yes, we don't do this anymore. And the young guy said, oh, okay, well, let's go back then. Stop the war. Stops wars. This woman stops wars. It's remarkable. You can't even believe the stories of our partners. Nargis in Egypt stopped female genital mutilation. We watched her in a 2-hour class, give an anatomy class to women who had never heard a thing about their anatomy in their lives. And one of the things she told them, don't cut your daughters. It's very bad for them. Bonnie and I interviewed the girls afterwards. What'd you think of that? Oh, man, that was great. You going to tell your friends? Oh, no. We won't say it. Well, did your mothers tell you this? Our mothers don't know this. Well, why won't you tell anybody? Well, we'll tell them to go visit Dr. Nargis. Are you going to cut your children? Oh, no. We thought it was a good thing. We'll never do that now. In 2 hours, she undid 2,000 years of damage. If I would have said that to that room, they would have just shook their heads and said, well, you don't understand our culture. But she's a doctor, and she can say it. And that was her dream, actually, to go around that country teaching women about female anatomy so they could be free. I would never have thought of that. It was incredible. Okay. I didn't get to tell a story about. It's okay. We're going to have to move on here. Let me conclude. We find ourselves tonight at a hinge moment. We are standing where past meets future, where generations come together. Yeah, come together. Let's come together. Let's stop this silly criticizing of each other. We need each other. Our generations come together. Your trust has brought us this far, and your openness will carry us much further. The roots are deep, the branches are growing, and hope is rising. We're going to watch a quick music video showing SowHope women rising up. Let it stir you. Let it remind you why we give, why we stay, why we believe in what we're building. Thank you for your love, your trust, your faith in this mission. When it's over, Jen will come to offer you a challenge. Please be generous. And I'll see you at the documentary showing in March. Good night, and God bless you. Oh, do I have to hit that thing?
You're broken down and tired.
goodness. Good evening, everybody. My name is Jennifer Frank Brenton, and I am the Fund Development and Marketing Specialist of SowHope. I felt a connection to SowHope because its focus is on empowering women. I've spent my entire professional career working at nonprofits because I know there is injustice, and I want to help level the playing field, especially for women. As I started learning about the amazing women of SowHope, those that we're partnering with and those that we're helping, I found that they had a few things in common: determination, brains, boldness, and an unwavering commitment, dedication that each of them had to help other women. One woman in particular made an impression on me. Her name is Sister Zeph. I was writing about her for an article for our newsletter and reading all about her and her work and her life when I learned that she won the Global Teacher Prize in 2023. She won this prestigious award, beating out hundreds of other nominees, not just because of her amazing work as a teacher, but because she chose to teach the poorest, the most discriminated against, and those with the fewest resources. At the age of 13, she decided to start a school of her own that provided free education after she was bullied and taunted by a teacher. At first, she just taught herself and her sister, but over the years it grew and grew, and now her school has over 9,000 graduates. During her years of teaching students, she realized that their mothers also needed an education. So she started a vocational school for women, which is where her partnership with SowHope started. SowHope funding allowed her vocational school to grow from teaching 15 women to 70 women at a time. I had the opportunity to talk with her, and I was so very excited. I felt like I was talking to a celebrity. I had never before talked to somebody who had used their life so selflessly on such a grand scale. And I asked her, "You've had a lifetime of working from your heart to make positive change, especially for women. How do you decide to keep going? How do you decide to keep taking on more and more projects?" Her response to me was immediate, and it was profound. She said, "I decided a long time ago, and now that's just the path I'm on. There's no longer a question or a decision that has to be made." She said that she was chosen, so she just does it. She just does it. She was certain, unwavering, determined, and she believes that projects that are placed before her are not opportunities that she decides on, but that she has chosen to do them. Sister Zeph is an example of the type of partner that SowHope wants to work with, an example of how to pursue your passion or to even recognize a chosen path, an example of how to rise up and help others rise up. And for me, she's an example of what can happen when you say yes, when you lean into something that you believe in. Kind of like Mary. Mary saw firsthand the struggles of women, and then she decided to do something about it. At first, she just wanted to work somewhere that helped women, and then she realized after months of searching that she was going to have to create the place that helped women. That was her path, you see, because she had already decided. You know that feeling that you get? The feeling that you get when you've got a lot on your plate and that you just need something to give. You're feeling overwhelmed and you're carrying a burden and you're just not sure how to make it work. And you think, I think that we can all relate to that feeling of overwhelmed with responsibility by our situation, with bills, or maybe even feeling out of control or powerless. And you think to yourself, if something would just give, if that project would just go through, if I could just get somebody to help me, if I could just get a few more days, I think this must have been what Mary got, what she was feeling when she was in front of all of those women talking about SowHope and her desire to help. If I could just raise some money, I could help these women. Oppositely, those women felt relief. They felt their burden being lifted because someone listened to them and said she would try to help. Mary lifted their burden and replaced it with hope. Mary, too, is an example of what can happen when you lean in and say yes. Mary decided long ago, and SowHope is the path. And the next step is engaging the next generation. I encourage you now to think of ways that you can lean in and say yes and help SowHope engage the next generation. We have an incredible opportunity tonight, and I'm so excited to share this with you because I don't think that this has ever happened at a gala before. I think I get to be the first one that gets to announce something this incredible. A generous donor has come forward for the gala, and tonight, every gift that is given will be matched up to $10,000. Yes. Any gift that you give tonight will be doubled. I encourage you to say yes to this amazing opportunity and give generously. You have an opportunity to make a gift that is life-changing. You have an opportunity to give a gift that lifts someone's burden and replaces it with hope. I want to thank you all tonight and any one-time gifts that you might give. I want to encourage you to consider becoming a monthly donor. When you're a monthly donor, you're a SowHope star. And as a SowHope star, you help in a very consistent way to ensure that the next generation, and we can count on those dollars from month to month. And you get to come to a special thank you just for SowHope stars. We will roll out the red carpet for you. If you're interested in planned giving, you can arrange a free consultation with Al Longton, CEO of Longton Family Companies, and a board member of SowHope. Al, where are you? There he is. Please wave your hand. Please reach out to him after the gala, or you can always call SowHope's office, and we can put you in touch with him. The number is 616-433-1575. Now I'm going to turn my attention to the table hosts. Table hosts, please grab those packets, those white packets that are in front of you. There is an envelope inside of them. Grab that out. From them, you'll have a donation card and an information card. Please pass them around to each guest at your table, and they can start filling them out. While your guests are filling out those cards, please take a minute and fill out the attendance sheet and write down any comments or suggestions. To all of the guests, please provide or update your contact details on the cards. On it, choose a method of payment. If you're making a credit card donation, please do provide all of your information, your name, your address, your zip code, your email address. All of this information should go on the information card. Your email address is important, so we know how to keep in touch with you and so we can send you receipts. When you're finished filling out your information cards, please hand them right back to your table host along with any donations. Table host, please make sure that your information cards are handed back, placed right back inside that envelope with everything, and we will have collectors come to your table and grab those packets. Can we see Johnny, Ann, and Sophie? Wait, there we go. These people standing up over here, they are our collectors, so they will be by your tables. Please look for these amazing faces. There are so many ways that you can give. You can go to our website, www.sowhope.org, and click on Donate. If you're here and you need help, you can go to the table near the auditorium exit. It is over here. We will have Jess and Aaron over there to help you. You can scan the QR code, which is on your program. You can also text SowHope to 44321 and follow the instructions. If you're writing a check, please make it out to SowHope. For those of you here tonight, use the envelope provided. For those of you watching online, please mail it to P.O. Box 234, Rockford, Michigan, 49341. And for cash donations, simply put them in the donation envelope and hand it right back to your host. Remember, if you give a $500 donation tonight, you can take home one of the photographs over there on the left wall. Deb Rayburn is here. Please find her and she will help you. Alan introduced her earlier tonight. Please also stop by our merch table. We have t-shirts, we have swag, we have things that you can put on that will make you look fabulous and will spread the word about SowHope. So please do go over there. There are people that can help you and would happily show you all of our merchandise. We also have a literature table. It's right by the front door. It's got wonderful things on there, information about SowHope. Please grab that information and take a few extra so you can share it with your friends. Anybody that you think might be interested in learning about what SowHope does. And be sure to stop by the photo booth. You're all looking fabulous. We've got props. Take a couple of really fun photos and we'll post them on Facebook and Instagram. There are other ways that you can help us as well. Stay informed by receiving our email updates or our news. Volunteer. You can find volunteer applications on our website. Specifically, if you're interested in helping out with our bulk mailings, they happen every 1 to 2 months. It's a 3 to 4 hour commitment, so please reach out to staff if you're interested in that. Or you can email us at info@sowhope.org. We'd really appreciate it if you could spread the word, like us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and remember to wear your swag. Don't forget that we've got Charity Redefined happening, the premiere in March. Please plan to attend that and bring all your friends. Make a thing of it. It'll be a lot of fun. I want to thank again our presenting sponsors, Sunlight and Dignified Care, and to all of the rest of our corporate sponsors, and of course, our generous matching gift donor. Thank you so very much. To everyone who came out tonight, thank you. And for everybody who's joined us online, thank you, thank you. If you are a first-time donor, you will be invited to a new donor dinner. It is free. We will have it at our office. It will be lovely. We can break bread together. It is on the 28th of October, so please keep an eye out for your email invitation. That concludes our evening for tonight. We'll see you again next year with all of your friends. Thank you, and be well.